Hi, this is Boris Schlossberg. Welcome to the Trading Battle, where we pit two traders every single week to trade for fun and money and charity. And this week we have a very, very special show because we're trading all crypto all the time this week, and we couldn't have picked a better day to do it. Crypto is going to the moon, as they say. Today we have two very special traders with us. In the right corner, we have Nick Bencino from Forex for Noobs and Lunar Crypto. Hey, Nick, how are you? Good to see you.
How you doing? Hello, everyone.
Nick is an old-time hand at trading crypto, and he's going to walk us through some of the better trades that he sees in the market today. And on the left-hand corner, we have Marcus Fetherston, who is the Chief of Operations at Eightcap and is really a newbie, and it's going to be really interesting to see how he survives this battle of fire with Nick. Welcome, Marcus. Good to see you.
Hope you Great to be here, Boris.
Great. So, as I said, it's all crypto all the time today. We are very, very excited to just do a full crypto program. And today couldn't have been a better day. FX doing nothing. Euro up maybe 10 basis points. Stock index futures doing nothing. They're down 30 basis points in the overnight trade. Crypto, to the moon, baby. Bitcoin is up 3.5%. Ethereum is up 3.3%, hitting just 24-hour highs maybe 10 minutes ago. So we have lots of interesting possibilities, lots of interesting ideas, and we're going to just dive right into it first and foremost. Let's do the first trade of the day. I'm going to put Marcus on the spot, the rookie trader here. Give us your best idea of what you want to trade right now as we get into our trading hour. Talk to us, Marcus.
Fantastic, Boris. Yeah, look, best trading idea is probably a bit rich, given my knowledge and expertise in crypto trading. But look, I will give it a shot. Look, Shiba's been pretty popular in the last week, as we're all aware. But we've seen it come off those highs quite strongly. And, on my chart here, I'm sort of comparing this back to the last time it came off the high back in May, where we saw it retrace about 86%. And that was still with the expectation that, we were going to get an NFT swap, staking pools, and a whole chain of infrastructure afterwards. And yet we still saw it retrace this much, sort of to this low where it's just been bouncing around the last few months. Come the last week, we saw a lot of big money dip into it. We saw Elon Musk back with his classic tweets, and the thing's pumped up a whole bunch and started to fall back from it. Look, the way I see it is we're just not going to have as much infrastructure to look forward to, as many developments in Shiba Inu. So I'm seeing the retracement is probably going to happen as strong as it did last time, or maybe even stronger in my personal opinion. So I'm really keen to get a short in here, even if it's just to take a tiny bit more on Shiba. Oh, Nick seems to disagree with me on this one.
No, I was just going to go long on Doge, and it broke out just like...
Yeah, come on, chase it, get in there, baby. It's a momentum market.
You can take my trading turn, Nick. It's fine. Like, if Doge is doing something, get on it.
There are no perfect trades in this market. Like, plow it in. Don't worry about a tenth of a pip execution. Get in there. So Nick is really almost a crypto native at this point. He's traded quite a lot, and Sorry, are we going to go long Doge? What's your trade?
Yeah. Oh, you missed even more pips. You should have went long, like when I first said it. You guys are sabotaging me because you all work for the broker. It's not fair.
Please. If it's going to run now, it's going to run later.
3 minutes in.
Okay, 3 minutes in. So we got two trades in: short Shiba, long Doge, which are sort of what I would call second-tier coins, but they obviously have a lot of momentum. But, the big story, I think, this week, Nick, has been that there's just been amazing momentum in crypto. And I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing in the market in general, because what's super interesting about crypto is that it took a lot of big body blows. Of course, we know that over the summer, the Chinese have essentially tried to put a full clamp down. They've shut down all of their miners, and Bitcoin had a big correction as a result of that, and yet it just bounces right back. It is literally the Terminator of financial instruments. It comes back and back and back. So I wonder if you could give us a little bit of your perspective as to how you think the whole crypto market is shaping up and why, or perhaps if you think that we are having a sort of a renaissance rally here into the year end.
I think, basically there's a few things. A good friend of mine ran over the data, and I was pretty sure October was going to be great because looking at every year since Bitcoin's inception, the high set in the first few days of October hold for the rest of October. it's 50% of the time. But if you look at just when the market has been bullish that year, which this is one of those years, it's something like 80% of the time. So as we went into October, the first few days were bullish. I was pretty convinced that it was just going to continue to be bullish, and that the lows were not going to be tested for the rest of October. And so far, that's been the case. And we're decoupling from the stock market right now. Sorry, I'll let you talk.
No. I was going to say, you're known as a big support resistance guy. I'm wondering, looking at the longer term chart, looking at sort of like the daily chart, maybe even the weekly chart a bit. What do you see the key levels are, and what would, if those levels get taken out, what would be your thought process given, those conditions? Because I'd be curious to see, since you said there's a very high probability, 80% probability that once we start rallying in October, we continue that rally. Do you think we have a chance here to maybe make fresh all-time highs in Bitcoin into the year end, given the price structure of how the...
Oh, yeah, 100%. I'm pretty, at this point, so I was looking at Bitcoin, a few weeks ago, and I was thinking maybe we're not going to go to all-time highs again this year. But I was really looking at levels like this one here. I'll move my line down to here, the 53K roughly, where it came up to a few weeks ago and then shot down from. Let me zoom in a bit. So here, where it came up to and shot down from, I was thinking if that one gets cleared and we get a nice close above there, then I'll get pretty bullish. And that's essentially what happened. We got a nice close above there 3 days ago, which was this candle here.
We're looking at daily chart, right? I just want to make sure this is daily chart. Okay.
Chart.
Right.
So the next real level that scares me is roughly it's the 60K psychological level, but it tends to back away once it gets to 59,500 because psychological levels, especially the strong ones, the closer you get, the more resistance there is. So the 60K psych level is where I really see the next major level for Bitcoin. And after that, it's just the 65K. It's just psychological levels really that are the biggest struggle for most cryptos. The big round numbers, so 60K, 65K, 70K.
Right.
So
we even have an example of that today. If anybody can zoom in on a 1 minute chart in Bitcoin, Nick and I were talking about this just before the show. If you look at the 1 minute chart, you see Bitcoin hitting 5,600 literally maybe 20 minutes ago and just bouncing right off that level. And one of the things that is, I think, really interesting about this market is it's very young, it's really fresh, and a lot of the tricks that some of us old timers used to use in forex, trading round numbers, fading round numbers, seeing how the price action moves through the round numbers, which no longer really work in forex because so much of that market has been roboticized and has been automated, and the huge amount of trading in forex now is essentially automated trading. In crypto, all the trading is essentially human trading in many ways, and that creates much cleaner, easier sentiment waves that you can take advantage of, right, Nick?
Yeah, exactly. That's the big thing with that I noticed with crypto. So I switched over. My camera looks frozen. Am I still here?
Yeah, we hear you talking, but we'll just keep on going.
Okay, cool. Right. So basically, everything that worked in forex 15 years ago has I'm not going to say it doesn't work anymore. It's just been getting less and less and less effective because, like you were saying, bots are taking over. So round psychological numbers, I've just completely stopped using them. Aside from maybe like AUD USD, for example, something like that, let's say it gets to $1, that's a pretty big number. That sometimes works, but a lot of the other ones, they just don't work anymore. But when you go over to crypto, it is just so easy to pick these. Like I was showing with my chart, the 56K, if you shorted there, it's just such an easy and simple short to take. That's a rounded number. Once it hits that new number, especially when it's moving to new highs, it's going to back away before continuing up.
And that's
such an easy short.
It's almost like $1,000 correction off that move. I mean, that is not chump change. That's a nice move and a nice small scalp during the day. Hey Marcus, how you doing over there?
I'm going great, Boris. Going great.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about your view of the crypto market. Your process and how you generally like to pick your trades? Given that it's a new market and just your general attitude towards it.
Yeah, great question. Look, I sort of divided up into two camps, being the more long-term investment strategy, and in the short term, yeah, it's all about trading and technicals. I think I definitely agree with what Nick said. I think we've seen a lot of the, I guess, fundamentals or technicals that maybe applied better to Forex 5-10 years ago now working to an extent really well in a lot of crypto markets, and especially on the derivative side in being able to go long and go short. Yeah, in the short term, I just think there's so much opportunity right now, especially once volatility subsides during certain periods and you get these great pricing corridors established. You just see so many great opportunities to go long and go short and move between them. Long term, I'm a bit more of a technologist.
Right.
I've been following crypto for a long time now, more on the ideological side. And I think on the technology, we're really seeing that come to fruition now with a lot of these great I guess other protocols that are coming into place. I'm a big sort of Terra Luna ball, so I'm really big on Anchor Protocol and a lot of these financial pieces of technology that we're seeing surpass a lot of what was in the TradFi space. So I guess I come at it in like a short-term trading perspective, more with technicals, and long-term it's more about the great technology that's underpinning it.
Interesting. So basically, you sort of substitute the word technology for fundamentals, because that's really the bet in crypto is which technology wins. That's the fundamental driver of a lot of these things, because it's really platform based. Right now, we're in a stage where everything in crypto is platform based, not application based. Eventually, somebody's going to create some incredibly killer application. They'll be like literally businesses, like almost stock market businesses, and then you'll be able to bet on business use case. But for now, we're all betting on which platform wins, and certainly for now, Ethereum leads the way as the dominant platform for all of the applications that we're seeing in crypto. So should we check the scoreboard, guys? How are the initial positions doing? We have long Doge and
how am I? That makes no sense.
What happened here?
Sounds like me when I'm trading.
No, we're having a little bit of scoreboard problems. So we'll let our producer fix this. And maybe my producer will just text me the.
But Doge is up. If I got into that trade myself, when Doge I wanted to,
Doge is beating Bit. Doge is beating ETH. It's up 4.5%. I mean, we're really having a like a crypto summer redux here. It's everybody's sort of buried Doge, as a dead coin just maybe a couple of weeks ago, because it really came off the highs. But it seems to be having a revival today. So that's been a great momentum trade to take as it goes. But now I kind of want to take us down to our second challenge of the day, which is to move down to the lesser known coins, the altcoins, outside of the top 5 ranked cryptos. And we're going to ask you guys to choose one of the lesser known coins that you think are going to be a great trade for the next 10 minutes. We're going to hold those for the next 10 minutes, see how well they do. Let's start with Marcus.
Cheers, thanks, Boris. So
Marcus is like, don't pick on me right now.
If you want, now I actually have to think of something to trade. I was just going to do the opposite of what Nick did. Nah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take a swing at it. So, yeah, look, so I've been taking a look at AXS over the last few days. So a bit of a lesser known coin. Look, we saw a large airdrop recently surge the price of it up just a bit to I guess around 150 or so, and we've seen a bit of retracement since. Look, I'm never really that confident in coins when we just see the price surge purely from a large airdrop. If we see it sort of retrace a bit after that, I just don't think we're seeing a lot of confidence sort of in the underlying chain or technology. If we also take a bit of a look at Vortex scores as well, which are tracked online, which measure the algorithmic comparison of historical and current market conditions. We often see these kind of converge at really serious points in the market.
Could you sort of back up a little bit? Explain to us, what is a Vortex score? What is that an internal to? Is it a trading indicator or a technical indicator relative to the coin? Could you explain to us a little bit more about what that is?
Yeah, sure. So I'm more than happy to sort of go through that. So Vortex Score sort of measures the algorithmic, I guess, comparison of historical and current market conditions from a combination of data points, which include market sentiment, trading volume, recent price movements, and Twitter activity. So I think when you start to see a lot of discussion start to bubble and you see the Vortex Score increase, you can sort of use that as a bit of a lagging indicator as to what's going to happen in the market afterwards. And we saw very recently, like, a big convergence happen right before the airdrop happened, or as the airdrop was happening on AXS, and the price just pumped up. Meanwhile, we then see right after it, we just see the convergence go down again, and probably not as much as the retracement we've seen here. So I'm definitely keen to go short on ASX following that and just take advantage of that. Personally, I'm not a massive fan of a lot of these, I guess, more game-based cryptocurrencies and NFTs, but yeah, I'm not feeling really good about this one, Boris.
Okay. So we're going to get short on the SS because you think it's kind of the hype is over. I am looking at my summary here, and it looks like the Doge trade is a little bit down, and Marcus's Shibu trade is also
Only
down, but not as much. So actually, on a relative basis, Nick is up. So don't cry. Don't sit there. You're still up.
It's only down because you guys didn't get in fast enough.
You sound like
Also, you guys are the broker, so I'm about to get stop hunted. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness!
You sound definitely like a client, Nick.
He sounds exactly like. Oh, you didn't give it a fill. I wanted the fill. If I had my fill, I would have been up. Okay, you're fine. You're up. You're still up on a relative basis. So it's okay. We'll give you.
Also, I disagree with AXS. I think AXS is. I'm not going to trade it right now on the short term, but I think AXS is a long-term winner. That thing is crazy. It's up. If you got in to AXS in February, it was like $1 or something, and now it's right now it's $122. So it was even lower than that. It was like 50 cents or something at some point.
Right.
My chart doesn't go back far enough with this exchange.
It's funny, you can't scale the chart
on TradingView.
The chart big enough, yeah.
Yeah, you could you could do logarithmic scale is kind of better, but I don't really like it that much. So you could have got in like at 13 cents.
If you get in that early on these sort of NFT game-based sort of chains and coins and that, it'd be like more power to you. Like it's a great long-term strategy. I'm just more like when hype or massive price momentum is just built purely off airdrops and things like that. With not like I don't think they really even released a whole lot in the game or of what AXS is, and so I don't really see there being like, based on that, any reason for it to keep going up. Again, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe the retracement's done just between 150 and 123, and I'm going to be suffering very badly in the P&L. But I still think there could be a bit of retracement on it. But look, completely agree. If you can get in on these really early, there's just so much good money in them.
Yeah. I'll tell you another one, Illuvium. It's not early anymore, but I still think the ceiling on that is we're nowhere near it. Illuvium, I don't think we can trade it here, but it's just a tip for people who are listening. Okay. Check out Illuvium. It's a gaming crypto, and I think it's going to be huge.
Nick, I need
Is it on TradingView? I can't see it.
Guys, before we get deep into the wonkiness here, I need Nick to place a trade. We don't have I don't have an offsetting trade with Nick. So what do you want to do on the alt side on the sort of top away from top 5? What's your trade right now?
I'm going to go long on DOT.
On what?
DOT, Polkadot, DOT.
Polkadot. Oh, Polkadot. Okay, yeah. I'm actually even I know what that is. Okay, it's
you have heard of it, Boris.
So cool. So why you like that? Just on a short term basis, what are you seeing on the price action there?
It's so simple. I mean, this is what I was saying the other day to you, Boris. That crypto is just It's so easy to spot things turning around in crypto because it just follows the technicals so well. So what I'm doing here is just like the most basic stuff that anyone can do. Is just drawing a trend line between those 2 points on the 15-minute chart. I don't really trade the 15-minute chart. I don't trade small time frames in general. So I don't really know how effective it is on this low of a time frame. But if it's effective on the daily, I think it's probably the same on the 15-minute. I just drew a trend line, boom, long at the trend line.
I'd love to see your screen. Can we see his screen? Or are we having
I thought you guys were seeing it. Yeah. So the trend line is between this point and this point, and it's bouncing here.
So this is a 50-minute chart. Came in, the candle looking green, obviously, or white in this case, but that's an up candle. That if that sort of stays there, that should give us some support on the fact that that it has a chance to go up. It looks like, by the way, your Doge is up. It's rallying. I mean, we're having a real renaissance this morning. Yes, Bitcoin and ETH both made 24-hour highs before we went on air. They came off those highs, but they seem to be re-rallying. It'd be interesting to see if maybe before we go off air, they kind of re-challenge the highs of the day. But it looks like they could go even higher as the day progresses. But for now, here's where we kind of stand. We have Nick long Doge, Marcus short Shibu, and then we have Nick long Polkadot, and then Marcus short ASX, right?
AXS, yeah. I feel like a real crypto bear right now. I'm short everything. Nick's long everything.
You short everything. You short everything into a pretty strong crypto day, which is actually kind of interesting. Yeah, we'll see. But short-term trading
counter trend.
Yeah, short-term trading is much more about price action than it is about fundamentals. And I spend all my day selling highs and buying lows, which is completely opposite of what they teach you in trading school. And yet I managed to survive. So it's, everybody has a different style. You just have to know your discipline and know your approach properly.
If you sell highs, buy lows, crypto's for you.
Yeah.
Try it on there. It's so easy.
As I told you, this week I dipped my toe in the water using my method. And, it was awesome. I was like, wow, I am like really, really hooked now. I mean, I was like, this, as you said, this stuff is easy. It's never easy, but it's definitely clear. That's the thing I think that's so interesting about this market. I mean, the hardest thing about trading is opacity, is the inability to clearly see the market, right? Sometimes when we're in the zone, we really see the market super clear. We, everything lines up. The charts are in sync. The fundamentals, we can really, really see the forward progression. And what I think has been very frustrating to a lot of people in the regular, what we call normie markets. I was listening to this crypto show yesterday, and apparently all of us who don't trade crypto are considered to be normies. That's the slang. So for the rest of the world, us normies, the normie markets have become so algorithmically driven that there's very little clear, clarity in movements. It just happens. It's just much more rare. I think the thing about cryptos that's kind of interesting is that when you see movement, it has continuity. There's clarity to that movement, and it makes it a lot easier to come in at the right points, to trade the right levels, and have a much higher probability of success with it, which I think is fascinating about this market. Very excited, as you said, to kind of trade it. So we're stalling a little bit here on the majors. How's our? I think Nick is still up on our middle part of the section. But now I kind of want to take your attention to the longer trends. One of the things that I think people who don't know crypto well don't realize is that this is a 24-hour-a-day market, 7 days a week. Like, it never stops. You can trade Saturday, you can trade Sunday. And one of the things that we're doing with this particular show, which we never get a chance to do, is, hey, show me your Saturday, Sunday trades. What do you think is going to look really good for the weekend in crypto land? What would what trades would you like to put on that have a longer term time frame in terms of your ability to do it? So choose your best trades going into the weekend and the week ahead. Let's start with Nick, because Nick is more of a long term trader, and he looks at the charts. Let's see what you're looking at the charts. What do you like as a longer term position, Nick?
Generally, how the crypto market works is that Bitcoin moves first, and then the alts will follow. So generally, Bitcoin over the weekend, you're not going to get much volatility. It'll move for sure, and especially if you're into range trading, you can definitely get some good range trades on the weekend in Bitcoin. But a lot of the alts have yet to follow this big Bitcoin move. And one of the ones I'm most bullish on long term is Atom. Atom has not followed Bitcoin yet, and I think it's about time it does. I could see it really taking off today and, tomorrow, maybe even on Sunday. Sunday's the slowest day, generally speaking. But right. I could see it really taking off and just going in the direction that Bitcoin has gone. As long as Bitcoin's able to maintain the highs it's at now, it doesn't necessarily need to make new highs, just maintain the highs it's at now. Right. You'll see some money flowing out of Bitcoin and going into the alts. And Atom is one of the biggest alts. And where's my Bitcoin dominance? I think it's gone. Wait, let me just bring this up.
Sure.
For those who don't know much about crypto, Bitcoin dominance is a great way to see where the money flow is. Is it going into Bitcoin or is it going into the alts? So basically, when Bitcoin really starts pumping, you'll see the Bitcoin dominance rise, and it's a pretty kind of.
Could you for those of us not in the know, could you explain a little bit more detail what is Bitcoin dominance? Is it the percentage of all money going to Bitcoin versus the rest of the market?
Yeah, basically, it's how much money is in Bitcoin versus how much money is in all the alts. So when you see Bitcoin dominance rising, it means a lot of money is flowing into Bitcoin and the alts are staying pretty steady. When you see Bitcoin dominance falling, it means money is not necessarily flowing out of Bitcoin, but it's flowing into the alts. But a lot of the times there'll be profit taking on Bitcoin, and and then that's put into the alts, which is what I did days ago.
Is that sort of the catch-up trade that you were talking about? That there is this kind of a cycle where Bitcoin goes and then people take profits and they recycle those profits into secondary coins, into altcoins as a
exactly. And Atom hasn't had its move. So Bitcoin's been going up for a few days. Some of the alts pumped yesterday. Atom didn't pump yesterday. I think it has a pretty good chance of doing so over the weekend. So I'll go long on Atom, and I'm just really hoping it breaks this very crappily
drawn triangle, right?
line.
You're looking at that. We're looking at your chart. We're looking at a triangle, and you're just looking for that triangle. The triangle breakout. Do you find that a lot of sort of classical technical setup patterns work? Like, that basically once that pattern triggers, you have a high degree of confidence that you have continuity. The question is, we have a huge amount of false breaks in FX and stocks, right? I mean, it's almost laughable at this point that you almost have to be on the exact opposite side of classical technical analysis to make money in those markets, because algorithms, I don't want to get too wonky, but market making algorithms are designed to go the opposite of what everybody else is doing, and that's what's happened in especially in FX, where there's so much dampening also from central banks and everything else, that every breakout is a fake out. Whereas here, this is much more of a retail driven market, speculative market, sentiment market, and when things move, everybody joins, and you don't have that kind of a dampening effect from professional market makers that you have in other markets. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. It's very sentiment driven, this market, especially when you get to the alts, the lower capped alts. It's just sentiment driven. So people out there on Twitter and stuff like that, they're throwing some basic technical analysis out, and thousands of people are seeing it. There's accounts with huge followings. Like I'm talking 500,000 people looking at the same technical analysis from one person who puts it on their Twitter.
It's a tremendous part. It's kind of like Reddit meets crypto redux. It creates a social media monster.
It's a dangerous combination, Boris.
Yes, no, it is. But it's definitely riding a wave. But it's it's a very powerful wave when you ride it. Marcus, I was going to ask you. The other interesting thing that's interesting about crypto is, so Nick's trade going into the weekend, I'm sorry, is Atom, right? He's long Atom. That's
Atom, ATOM.
He's ADL. What I was going to say is, you kind of made a allusion to this, and I wanted to get more deeper with you. The greatest thing about crypto is it's public. Like there is nobody who owns the prices, like there is with Chicago Mercantile Exchange and stock index futures. or the New York Stock Exchange and stocks. All pieces of data are effectively on a public blockchain, the transactional data as well as sentiment data and everything else. And you talked about the idea of how you can aggregate these scores, but that's one of the interesting things about this market is that now these incredibly sophisticated public tools that anybody can access. This is kind of stuff that years ago hedge funds would pay millions of dollars to get internal flow data, but here, right from the get-go, the whole market is totally transparent and open. And I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about that and how what you think is the value of that.
Well, it makes for great pricing. I mean, on our side at Eightcap, when we look to launch a big crypto offering like we have, offering over 250 crypto CFDs, I think we took a look out there. And, traditionally in FX and that, for those who aren't aware, there's only so many venues that you can really source pricing from in terms of types of venues, there's banks, non-banks, some clearinghouses and that. But it's all very vanilla and the same thing. Meanwhile, you look at crypto, and when we look to do this offering, there's traditional crypto exchanges offering liquidity. A lot of classic institutions have moved into crypto from TradFi and traditional assets. You see these really cool prime broking clearinghouses emerging in crypto as well. And
there's sorry to interrupt you, but you're absolutely right. The point is that it's much more institutional on the other end. You have to be part of the club. You have to be part of the buddy club. You have to be part of the interbank club to kind of make markets in FX or in stocks or anything else. You have to be part of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You have to be a member, quote unquote member. Whereas the great thing about crypto is you don't have to be a member of anything. You could just say, hey, I'm going to start making markets. I'm going to start quoting prices, and you're there. You're on the platform. That creates huge amount of competition and distribution and participation that I think is absent from this, very clubby rest of the world financial markets.
You can be a liquidity provider yourself. That's the great thing about DeFi. Just when you thought it was, removed from institutions, a whole bunch of people during DeFi summer and all these protocols took a look at these centralized exchanges and said, not decentralized enough. And all these great DeFi protocols have been made where individuals can contribute liquidity to. So it's, very democratic in a weird sense and very decentralized. And it's just another great source of liquidity. So when Eightcap comes to the table, when we're looking out there, it's not a question of choosing one, but just aggregating all of it together in a great pool and being able to make really liquid markets and great spreads. So there's just a lot more to choose from and so much more technology in the space.
Yeah, wonderful. No, I think that's very exciting, and it's really, really interesting for anybody who's just even considering this market because the possibilities are just starting right now. So, Marcus, what's your trade for the weekend? Talk to us, my friend.
I'm feeling pretty basic, Boris, to be honest. Look, I'm still really keen on ETH. I know you talked about it at the start of the show tonight, but look, I think it faced a lot of bearish.
Feeling pretty basic. That's very funny. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's a basic trade, but for the same reason as Nick's going into Atom, in terms of the Bitcoin sentiment and how that reflects into altcoins, I just still think there's a lot of potential with ETH. It was facing a real bearish regression, throughout September, though it's currently powering on. We're seeing this massive rise come through. And even with the China news, we just see it break through it, to the point where we've seen, about, I think it's something like $250 million worth of neutral to bearish put options pretty much made worthless through this. Because after the China news, a lot of people that are going in on their puts around the 3,200 mark, and it's just gone through. So I think if that's happening, there's just no reason why it can't just keep going higher.
Did you say $250 million, $250 million notional on that size? That's really serious.
On the bearish options side, and we're seeing ETH bulls profiting. I mean, because we've just seen a big option expiry around October 8th. So literally today, we've just seen a lot of these expire. So many of the puts out of the money, and the bulls are going very strong here. So I think that alone, to me, and the way it's recovered from this China news, which the China news has become. It's once a month now. There's another post or another announcement that we're seeing. I mean, this one was a bit different because it seemed to not be as Bitcoin specific and more overall crypto. And so apparently that'll erase a lot of big Ethereum staking pools over in China. But even after that news, the thing is still riding. It's still going strong. So I'm definitely going in for a buy here.
They all literally recalibrated themselves into Austin, Texas. All the Chinese are now in Austin, Texas. This is what's amazing about, I think, this space is that you cannot kill it. people just simply say, "Oh, you don't let me mine in China. I'm just going to go to Texas and mine over there."
You have to kill the internet, essentially.
Yeah, you have to kill the internet. You're right. You have to really kill the internet, that's really, really interesting point, Nick. As you say. So a little bit of a summary where we stand here. This is Marcus's right position.
Just
So
chucking
he's
the buy
down a
on
little
ETH.
bit. Uh, we have the old timer beating the broker right now. So the OG is winning. So I think Marcus is down about $800, but of course we never know. The trades could turn around and ETH could really rocket. I mean, if ETH goes in close to perhaps even closer to the 4,000 level, that will assuage a lot of sins for Marcus. Marcus's biggest problem today was that, as he's himself admitted, he decided to get short on a day when crypto is just simply going to the moon. Even though he may have had good reasons for the two individual ideas, the broader market is just up. And Nick has just kind of like said, "Hey, I'm just going to get long across the board because I see the market going up." So I think Nick is clearly up. He's got his doges up. I don't have the exact numbers because we're having a little bit of problem with our dashboard. But my producer has told me that the Nick is leading so far. But of course, we're going to see exactly how it all trades out over the weekend, and then we'll update everybody on the final stuff. Before I let you guys go, I'm interested in one. This is such a new market. There's so much interesting, fresh information that's distributed. I wonder if you could share, Marcus, starting with you first. What are your sources of information? Like, how did you know about this option expertise? Like, where do you get your basic, quote unquote, basic info from that people could follow the market, with a good degree of knowledge?
Yeah, I'm happy to start with that. So look, yeah, there's just so many places to get info on crypto. Like you said, it's based on the internet. It's everywhere, and so the news is everywhere. I guess the downside of that, like Nick said, is you go on Twitter and you see about 50 different perspectives and 1,000 kinds of analysis, and you're sort of thrown in a lot of different directions. So like Twitter is like the good place to go just to find general sentiment and that, and you can meet and find a lot of great people on there and follow the really specific people you like. So on the technical short-term basis, I just really use Twitter, to be honest. I'm not very complicated. That in itself is a bit complicated.
Is there any specific account on Twitter that you think is sort of maybe not an individual, but perhaps some, like I know not Coinbase, but there's CoinDesk. There are a couple of accounts that are sort of institutional news accounts. Is there anything that you follow specifically?
I'll look on institutional news. Like I think CoinDesk is good for general, more like crypto industry kind of news. I prefer Cointelegraph for kind of market analysis, but even that can be a bit, yeah, basic at times. It has its moments. On the DeFi side, I'm really big on the Bankless Nation podcast and YouTube channel. They do a lot of great pieces and deep dives into the technology side of it. So long term, that's kind of where I get some good content from. But yeah, Twitter's my main source for the short term, just to gauge sentiment for better and for worse a lot of the time, it turns out.
Interesting. Wow. How did you know about the option expiry? Like, for example, where that news come from? Was that from Twitter?
Again, it's just Twitter. Probably, I think I was just scrolling through Twitter and I saw an article and I just clicked on that. I think it can, just following a few news sites, it's not always the best option. And that's why I think Twitter's good, because you get that taste of everything, which whilst it's misleading, you can sort of go in these deep dives into, really specific people's Twitter feeds, and, you click on tweets of retweet tweets and just so on. And you just find some great articles and good deep dives into the space.
Super interesting. Okay. What about you, Nick? Where do you kind of source your ideas? I mean, I know you have your own. Nick has his own crew in his trading room that with guys who just spend lots of time researching latest interesting projects and ideas. And Nick is also very deep into NFTs. But just on a general sort of like, hey, I just want to know what's happening in the market. Where do you look at those sources? What are your sources, Nick?
Honestly, it's the same. It's really Twitter. Twitter is the place to go for crypto. I follow a lot of interesting accounts, but it's not like the news accounts you mentioned, because they're very, very generic, and they're usually like with traditional markets. If you're following the news like Bloomberg and Reuters, you're way behind the curve. You need to follow people who are trading and just see what the buzz is, especially if you're looking for low market cap cryptos, known as gems in the crypto world. Low market cap gems. you just see what buzz is, and you just jump into those cryptos if they look good. Obviously, you need to do your own research into each crypto, and that's where the people I trade with,
right,
my group, come in. They help me with research. I do research, and we all kind of work as a team to figure out what crypto is really good. But Twitter is a great place for information.
All right. So here's a very normie question to both of you guys. Are there any particular tags that somebody who is interested in following this should maybe try out? Like you said, gems, for example. Is that a tag that you would look at, or any hints from you guys? I'd be grateful for.
Yeah, crypto gems. That's a hashtag that you could check out.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really go for hashtags. I just follow people to talk about them. But crypto gems is a hashtag I do follow. Yield farming is pretty big. Yeah, yes. So YIELD farming.
Yeah. Yes.
Yield farming crypto. Yield farming cryptos are pretty big because I can't get into what yield farming is. It's way too complicated to explain quickly. But cryptos that are based on yield farming, they tend to do pretty well. So I keep an eye out for those. And GameFi, so GAMEFI.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty decent hashtag if you're looking for gaming cryptos. And that's really what the next big wave is, in my opinion, gaming cryptos.
Yes.
They're the ones that are probably really going to take off because, we all know gaming is a huge industry. And now that it's moving into NFTs and crypto, or crypto and NFTs are moving into gaming rather, the merging of those two is just huge.
Interesting. What about you, Marcus? Any juicy tags for us to think about, or maybe?
It's a tough one. I'm kind of like Nick. It's just following accounts. I mean, if you just do the generic cryptocurrency hashtag, you might not learn a lot, but you're in for some good entertainment. There is some crazy stuff in there. Probably won't help you make any money, but it's good for a laugh. It's better than a lot of subreddits, that's for sure.
Okay. Oh, speaking of that, so is there any subreddits that are worthwhile, or is it just insanity? Like, I don't think I've ever been abused more in my life than when I started to post on Reddit against the meme stocks. But I survived it. But it really was I love Reddit, but it is really one of the most abusive platforms in the world. So what do you guys like? Do you guys have anything on? Do you guys look at anything on Reddit as far as crypto goes?
I don't. But
you don't. Okay.
I like Reddit, but not for crypto.
It's good to follow, in my opinion, the individual coins sometimes, not like Bitcoin or Ethereum necessarily, but I think to understand or get a real niche opinion on the other cryptos or other tokens, like you go to the Solana subreddit and that'll talk about specific questions that come up about it. And it's a great place to find questions. I mean, even when you Google, how does Cardano work or something, the first few links you'll see are usually subreddit posts where people give great, more layman's term kind of explanations of these chains and coins.
Super. That's a really great tip. Thank you so much for that, Marcus, because that's a great way to just simply start top-down knowledge. So Nick is still in the lead, and I think it talks to the fact that crypto is a very momentum-driven market. It's an up day today. As I said, crypto is leading all the markets by a long shot. Nick just had long positions all across. Certainly, his selection was good.
Oh shit! Never mind.
Yes.
I was going to say, can I close my Doge? And then it went down to my entry just as I wanted to close it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll let it float. You're still ahead. Don't worry. Even on a relative basis, you're still ahead.
Very ahead.
Very ahead. But that's okay. The day is long, and the trades are still good. This has been a tremendous amount of fun for us. Just learning a lot about the market and just taking some of the more interesting and more of the basic trades as we go. I'm fascinated to see how Marcus's ETH trade goes over the weekend, whether this very strong momentum that we're seeing into Friday is going to continue. One of the things I wanted to kind of end up with you, Nick, is you said, Saturday tends to be a little bit of a busier day. And I wonder it's because this is a retail market and a lot of people obviously are off on Saturdays across the world. So they're in front of the screens. So maybe some of the more, casual traders that laid down the orders there. Do you think that that's part of the reason why Saturday kind of has some continuity?
Yeah, Saturday for me, the whole weekend for me in crypto is generally ranging, but there's a lot of trades to be taken within those ranges. You're generally not posting new highs on a Saturday. I mean, but you can't say anything about crypto where you say generally this happens, because I bet this weekend Bitcoin's probably going to go to 60K. It's really all over the place with crypto, but Saturday tends to be a bit of a slower day, but there's still a lot of action. A lot of trades to be taken if you know what you're doing. And Sunday is probably the worst day for crypto, really. Sunday is pretty dead.
Yeah. Until basically Sunday night when Asia wakes up for Monday, and then you start seeing some action.
Yes. Yeah. I live in fear these days of Asian traders, or the Asian session traders, I mean, because I know I'm going to go to bed and they're just going to crash the market, because they tend to be pretty bearish. And then I'll wake up to like everything just down across the board.
Just decimated.
So Asian session traders, pretty scary.
Yeah. Well, I think they take their profits quickly there. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
So Nick, tell us a little bit about your business. We'd love to hear. I know you are, of course, the founder of Forex for Noobs, one of the great websites for forex trading. You have a huge following on YouTube. But you also started a new crypto channel called Lunar Crypto. If you want to give us a little bit more details about either one of your business, we'd love to hear what you do.
Lunar Crypto, it's basically just a free website where I teach people how to trade crypto. There's a Discord channel where I tell everyone what trades I'm taking, again, for free. Basically, what I wanted to do with crypto is I just think it's a market everyone should be in. I really, really do, because it's so easy and it's way lower risk than Forex. So I'm really trying to explain this to people and show them how it is lower risk, because you can make the same returns with no leverage and
because of volatility.
Because of the volatility. So it's such a safe market to trade as long as you know what you're doing and you're pulling that money out, turning it back into fiat. If you're worried about keeping it in crypto, which a lot of people are, it's a really safe market to trade. It's easy, and the technicals are just so simple that literally you could show a 5-year-old how to draw a trend line and put some support resistance up, and they're followed by especially the lower cap cryptos. They're followed to a T. So that's a message I'm trying to get out with that website and with that Discord channel. I'm just sharing everything I trade, everything I buy, everything I sell. I tell people when I do it, and it's been going great.
Did they look you up at Lunar Crypto on Discord? Is that where they would find you? Like just
the website. Just go to Lunar Crypto.
The website will give you this Discord channel.
LUNR.
It's LUNRCRYPTO.com. Hey, do you want to tell us why you called it?
I'm going there now, Nick.
Because it's a common thing in crypto. You say to the moon. So Bitcoin's going to the moon.
Yes.
And we wanted to do something with the moon theme. So we went with Lunar. But then like these days, everyone has like a kind of name where a letter is missing or something to seem cooler. So we just removed the A from Lunar. And that's it.
All right. So let me just reveal my boomer roots, and almost nobody who's watching this broadcast, unless they're like 1,000 years old, are going to get this reference. But if you're old like me, the phrase "to the moon" actually comes from this old TV show called The Honeymooners with Jackie Gleason, who was a very famous, fat American comedian. And he used to his tagline in that show was "To the moon, Alice," to his wife whenever he would get mad at her. So to the moon to the older folks means something very different than it is to crypto. But I've just revealed just how ancient I am.
I know that, but it's from The Sopranos. They talk about Jackie Gleason, and
they talk about Jackie. This is how reference it is. I know the original source. You know the reference source in Sopranos, and everybody who's watching, like, what the hell are you talking about for us? All right, now, Marcus, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, and tell us a little bit about the crypto offering at Eightcap, which I'm very excited about it because it's really just incredibly varied. Give us a little bit of a conversation about that.
Yeah, sure. So we've pretty much thrown the kitchen sink at it in terms of regulated crypto offerings. We looked out there and there were a lot of, offshore exchanges offering derivatives on crypto, some tight spreads and a lot of instruments, but pretty much not a lot of security, no regulation. And we're seeing a lot of these people now, lose banking relationships and get caught up in a lot of legal issues. Meanwhile, onshore, if you look at a lot of CFD brokers and a lot of regulated entities, they're not really offering much in the way of cryptos. So,
right.
yeah, Eightcap's looking for that real...
Just to tell people, is it 10 cryptos that you're offering?
Just a bit more, just a tiny bit more.
Is it 50 cryptos that you're offering?
No, keep going.
Is it 100 cryptos that you're offering?
It's 250 plus is where we're at right now, and
you're ruining my setup here. I wanted to.
It was going to go on for too long. We're running out of time, Boris.
150 cryptos. That is like magnitude 10 times more than almost any other CFD broker in the world right now. All of it, of course, wrapped around in a single account, which is very, very nice. All of it basically allowing you to speculate on the price path of the crypto without having to worry about MetaMask wallets and all of the complicated issues of actually being able to transact. You can transact with a simple point-and-click ease straight from the MetaTrader 5 platform, right? On all of these platforms, right? And the other thing that I think is kind of interesting about your offering, because like you said, you made this reference to the fact that you've been able to tap into liquidity. When I look even at TradingView and I'm looking at what am I looking at? Who's offering this? This is Bitstamp, right? If I'm looking at Bitstamp, their Bitcoin, their biddy spread, their spread on Bitcoin is 22.25 wide. I'm looking at your platform and the spread is like 11. Spread is like 10. It's literally half of what you can find. You find the spread on some of the bigger, more established platforms, which is really astounding. I have no idea how you were able to get the liquidity for such great spreads. ETH, ETH is generally sort of traded pretty well on all the platforms, but it's 2 or 3 wide on all the big platforms. I think ETH on your platform is literally not even 1 wide. It's like half wide, which on a 3,000 notional instrument is enormously valuable. If you want to trade that for $10 like I do, I trade ETH for $10. That's a really great venue to be able to trade it with. So that's interesting and very exciting about your offering. Anything else you want to tell us about what's going on with you guys and what you plan on doing?
Well, look, we just keep on wanting to offer more cryptos as we go. We're really close to launching our TradingView as well for both trading and charting. So, yeah, a lot of cryptos, great charting software, great trading technology as well. And we're just keeping at it and, don't really want to stop on our side.
Yeah, super exciting. I'm very, very excited about your offering. It's the simplest, easiest, and in fact, probably the most efficient way for any new trader or any trader that wants to participate in this market and get an idea to participate in this market. It also, by the way, of course, has all the advantages of CFD in a sense that you can, as you talk about it, you can do small size, something that Nick was referring to, that, you don't have to buy a full Bitcoin in order to participate in a trade. You could buy 1/10 of a Bitcoin on a CFD basis and still have the full price path, the full potential of profitability of a position. So that's great. Wrapping stuff up, I think Nick continues to lead us. Unless I'm wrong, my producer is probably going to confirm to me. I think Doge, we're starting to come off a little bit off the highs, but I still think Nick is leading ahead. We're going to let these trades go. Marcus, I think Marcus has really survived his first medal here. It was very, very hard. We threw him to the wolves here, but he's been able to hold his own. And we're going to see how well the trades go over the weekend. Remember, the beautiful thing about crypto, the beautiful thing about markets is everything changes really quickly. If we get a big rally into the weekend, we may see Marcus actually win this trading battle. But we're going to obviously keep tabs on everybody and summarize and give you guys a final update once the trading competition goes over. But in the meantime, our first all crypto trading battle has been, I think, a great success. I certainly learned a huge amount about the market and about how it trades. It's fascinating to see it. It's also really, really interesting to see it as a speculative instrument. I hope you guys really, really enjoyed it. I want to thank you so much, both of you guys, for participating and sharing all of your fountain of wisdom with us. And I hope that everybody comes in and gives it a try, because I think crypto, as Nick was telling me the other day, crypto is the new Forex. And if you ain't in it, you ain't living. So I hope everybody starts to participate. Thanks again, guys. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Those of you trading crypto, you get a chance to trade it into the weekend. And I will see everybody next week for the trading battle. It's Boris Schlossberg, over and out.
Cool. See you later.